When it comes to Drake, Nicki Minaj, and Cardi B, yes, Drake is caught up in this too. The situation has gotten messy. Right now, it seems like Drake is sitting on his phone quietly rooting for Nicki Minaj. If you're ready to dive into the ongoing feud in the female rap world, the clash between Nicki's side and Cardi's is reaching a new level. Between Young Money, Cardi, and everyone else involved, so much has already unfolded and even more is about to go down. Put into perspective, this could be the culmination of one of the biggest rap beefs in years. So before we continue, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm going to need it. Drake stans already don't like me, and now we're pulling in another fan base I won't even name. Trust me, support is going to be necessary as we watch this next major rap beef rise and play out. After Cardi dropped her new album I Am the Drama, things really shifted. Despite the campaign to frame it as a flop, the record has shaken the industry. From snatching away titles once held by Drake to driving Nicki Minaj into frustration over losing the spotlight, I Am the Drama is still hitting where it hurts. If Young Money takes an L here after everything they've tried, they'll lose the last shred of respect they have left. Future projects will be dismissed before fans even press play. And let's be honest, by the time we're talking about this, that truth has never been clearer. We've seen Nicki and Cardi clash online in a way we've never witnessed before. The insults, rebuttals, and memes aren't just for show, tensions are at an all-time high. When you look at where both of their careers are headed, the writing on the wall says this beef is about to explode bigger than ever. But it's not just between the two of them. Drake is deeply tied to all of this. As much as it's Nicki versus Cardi, it's also Nicki, Drake, Young Money, even Lil Wayne, pitted against Cardi's label Atlantic Records, against UMG, Roc Nation, Jay-Z, and whoever else they've blamed for their setbacks. Drake isn't just a bystander, he's a central figure fueling this drama and escalating it toward a point where both sides will have to respond with music. And once that happens, things will never be the same. At the core of this beef lies one statement Cardi made. But before we get into that, let's not forget, Cardi and Atlantic Records already dealt Drake a blow when I Am the Drama stripped away his so-called achievement of having the fastest album to go platinum, handing that crown directly to Cardi instead. Beyond Nicki, Cardi has been irritating the entire Young Money camp. With Drake and Atlantic Records in the mix, there's a much bigger feud brewing, one that will make far more sense as we go deeper into this situation. But before we get there, let's look at what Nicki has been posting. She's been laughing, bragging, and seemingly mocking Cardi's first week album sales of 199.6K, just under 200,000. When compared to Pink Friday 2's 223,000 first week sales, Nicki's point becomes obvious. After doing her MTBTFs, as you know what I mean, she's been on a rant, acting like she's on top of the world because her last album outsold Cardi's comeback after a 7-year hiatus. But the reality is, most of the insults flying back and forth have been nothing but nothing burgers, funny for a moment sure, but ultimately just mudslinging. None of it has pushed us closer to what fans actually want, Nicki and Cardi facing off in the booth. One major thing to notice though is how Cardi seems to be playing a bigger game, possibly trying to divide the Crash Out crew and pit Drake and Nicki against each other. Despite how she's acting publicly, it's likely Cardi has new music ready to drop. As she said herself, "Why you keep bringing up my album? It's not the gag you think it is. You've been in the game like 16 years. You need to compare yourself to your peers that started around your time, Rihanna, Taylor Swift, Drake. Those are the numbers you need to be competing with, and you can't cause you're doing lower than all of them." This statement cuts deeper than the usual name-calling. As a rap fan, someone who values the musical and cultural competition behind all of this is where things start to matter. Cardi is essentially calling Nicki out for posturing as if she's sunning new female rappers every time they drop, when in reality Nicki should be competing with her era's heavyweights, Rihanna, Taylor Swift, and Drake. It's unclear if Cardi was joking, throwing shade, or hinting at something bigger, but it's undeniably hilarious that she threw Drake into that sentence. Beyond the jokes, what really stands out is that Cardi went after Nicki's closest ally in the industry, arguably the only person who's stuck by her despite their reputations sinking over the years. I can see what Cardi is doing here. Compared to Drake, she actually studies rap battles at least more than he and Nicki seem to. She's trying to bait Nicki into speaking on Drake, maybe to call him out or compare sales, to fracture their alliance or at least make them look ridiculous as they tear each other apart. And honestly, to some extent it's working. Just look around. Cardi's new album may have sold less than Nicki's and fallen below industry expectations, but at the same time Nicki is crashing out over it. Cardi is controlling the spotlight, stealing records from both Nicki and Drake and shaping the narrative no matter how Nicki tries to spin it. And with a new Nicki Minaj album scheduled to drop in March 2026, Young Money fans are in a strange position. They're clinging to a new villain to blame for all of their artists' failures, using Cardi as bait to rally what's left of their fractured fanbases. This has been the foundation of both Nicki's and Drake's brands for nearly a decade, never taking accountability. Their unofficial motto, no pun intended, is "I am always right, everyone else is always wrong. If you disagree, you're part of a plot to take me down." Now Cardi is stepping into that same ring, about to face a level of stan backlash we've never seen before, and that's saying a lot. When we look at the bigger picture of these interactions, Nicki and Cardi addressing each other directly even through social media, it's clear that this can only escalate into a larger, more explosive feud. Both sides are gearing up and the scale is growing. Let's break it down further. Nicki Minaj hasn't just been clashing with Cardi, she's also thrown disses at Jay-Z, trying to discredit him and dismiss everything he represents. Time and again, she uses Jay-Z and Roc Nation as scapegoats to cope with her own shortcomings. We've seen this play out before, such as when she went after SZA while spiraling online. Now, all of that blame shifting and conspiracy spinning is boiling over in a way we've never seen before. While Nicki and Drake might believe teaming up could finally give them a win against Cardi B, Atlantic Records, Jay-Z, and Roc Nation, the truth may be the opposite. What we're watching looks more like a trap that Cardi has laid out, and the cracks are already showing. Drake has his own history of beef with Atlantic Records, and when you connect the dots, the picture becomes even clearer. All the hysteria, hypocrisy, and whining about the music industry, aimed at Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar, and now Cardi, are reaching a breaking point. Young Money has never been louder or more obnoxious, and with Nicki's and Drake's fanbases combining forces, the noise will only get worse. Brace yourself, because their constant crash-out antics are about to bother everyone in ways we've never imagined, pushing endless narratives to make their idols seem flawless when in reality, failure is the recurring theme. Now, here's where it gets serious. Cardi didn't just throw shade indirectly. She sneak dissed Nicki on I Am the Drama while also snatching away Drake's record for the fastest album to go platinum. And then she called him out by name, signaling that she's prepared for a full-on rap battle. The album itself was filled with competitive bars and direct disses, proof that she's more than capable of packing up lower-tier rappers and setting her sights higher. If Cardi has learned anything from past industry feuds, it's this: always think ahead. Stay one step in front of your opponent. That's how you gain the rap equivalent of home court advantage. She seems to be studying the blueprint of Kendrick Lamar, who changed hip-hop history with the speed and precision of his responses to Drake, especially with Meet the Grams. Cardi looks ready to apply the same strategy: surprise, timing, and quality. At its core, this beef is Cardi versus Nicki, the clash fans are waiting for. But on the label side, there's another motive: weakening Drake's circle. If Nicki is pulled away from him, Drake loses his last credible ally. Without her, he's left surrounded by second-rate rappers with no momentum, unable to clout chase like he once did. To be clear, this isn't about some wild conspiracy to destroy Drake. Instead, it's a direct consequence of his actions. Drake didn't just sue the label system after his failures, he's made things personal, disrespecting Lucian Grange and his son Elliot, the CEO of Atlantic Records. That's why he's in real trouble. And this is where the irony comes in. Drake has tried in the past to get under his rival's skin by dragging families into beefs, against Pusha T, against Kendrick, but it never worked out for him. Now he's up against something more dangerous than a clever diss track: the full power of the music industry. We're already seeing how calculated this is. The moment I Am the Drama dropped, Atlantic's PR machine erased Drake's Scorpion achievement and pushed the narrative that Cardi's album broke the record as the fastest to go platinum. That was no coincidence, it was a statement. The reality is this: Drake has angered some of the most powerful figures in the industry, and Atlantic is making sure he feels it. Drake isn't just clashing with Lucian Grange or his son Elliot, he's repeatedly taken aim at Elliot's wife Sophia Richie, who also happens to be Lionel Richie's daughter. From posting her on the Plot Twist page months ago with an owl edited over her, to hiring someone who looks just like her to appear in Iceman Episode 3 as some kind of strange stand-in, Drake has been sending cryptic, bizarre messages. And honestly, at this point, trying to decode what Drake is attempting to say feels exhausting. The truth is, Drake's artistic value has never really mattered. What matters here is that he isn't just antagonizing his own label, he's now dragging the family of the head of Atlantic Records into the feud. And when you disrespect the wife and daughter-in-law of two of the most powerful men in the music industry, you can't be surprised when the backlash comes crashing down. The legacy of this moment may end up being the final proof of why Young Money collapsed. For all their hype and early trajectory, Drake, Nicki, and their crew have been exposed as entitled, spoiled brats of the industry. Their numbers have fallen, their influence has shrunk, and yet their antics have only grown more irritating. The industry no longer protects them. Instead, newer artists are taking their place, and labels are letting those artists challenge them head-on without offering Young Money the kind of protection they once received. And let's be clear, this isn't some grand conspiracy cooked up against Drake and Nicki, no matter what their fanbases scream online. The simple fact is, results define reputation in this industry. When your sales decline, when your only headlines come from drama, and when you've alienated the most powerful players in music, you lose your leverage. That's exactly where Drake stands now, and it's where Nicki might find herself soon. But what makes the Nicki vs. Cardi feud different from Drake vs. Kendrick is the role of the label. Atlantic isn't just sitting back and letting things unfold, they appear to be actively encouraging Cardi. And why wouldn't they? Drake himself created this mess by going after Elliot's wife and entangling family members in his feuds. Combine that with his public battles against his own label system and the stage is set. So, where does this leave us? We're watching Young Money unravel in real time. Drake and Nicki, the self-proclaimed industry giants, are spiraling while Cardi positions herself for the upper hand. With I Am the Drama, Cardi has already shown she's not afraid of competition, and Atlantic seems ready to back her fully. If this all builds toward diss tracks in the booth, and it looks like it will, we could be witnessing the biggest rap beef since Kendrick vs. Drake, maybe even one of the most defining in hip-hop history. So here's the real question, what do you think? Where is this Nicki vs. Cardi beef headed? What role will Drake play as his empire collapses around him? And how do you think Atlantic, Roc Nation, and the rest of the industry, tired of the endless antics of Young Money, will respond? As for Cardi's album itself, I'll share a quick take. While reception has been mixed, I thought it was a solid project, certainly better than most mainstream rap albums in 2025. The competitive bars and sharp disses were entertaining, the production and flow were thoughtful, and while the album did lose some momentum toward the end, it still felt like a cohesive body of work. Personally, it was enough to convince me that if Cardi steps into the booth against Nicki, she's ready. So, if you enjoyed this breakdown, leave a like and subscribe, it really helps out. And if you want to know how Bad Bunny landing the Super Bowl halftime show connects back to all of this, and why Kendrick Lamar might be smiling, check out the suggested video.